friends, Shay here, and I'm here with some recommendations for you today. So, per request of my girl Tamika over at Library of Tomes, today we are doing Cowboy Romance Rex. Now, this is a trope that people give me a lot of flack for. I love a good Western romance. Yes, the guys might be more alpha, but I kind of don't care. I still have a good time reading them, and there's usually a really good underlying story within them as well. Now, I have done this rec video in the past. I will leave that linked in the corner for you because I will not be talking about all of the same series. I think there's one or two that might overlap from my previous list, but those have since been completed, so I can officially say that they're an official recommendation from me. So, with that said, let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, this first one is going to be for my dark romance lovers, and this one is the Temptation Saga by Helen Hard. Now, Helen Hard is known for having content that's going to push the limits of your comfort zone. Our characters are usually dealing with some sort of trauma in their past. It can be male or female, it doesn't matter. And they are usually messy, but messy in a way that's enjoyable to me. So I can understand how this series isn't going to be for everyone. This isn't a universal recommendation. This one is mainly for Tamika because I think she would enjoy the stories that are happening. Then again, she might not. So, with that said, let's move on to the next one, and that is the Once Upon a Time in Texas series by Carly Bloom. Now, this is for my people who love a lot of steam in their romances. This is a very steamy, very explicit on page kind of content. So if that's the kind of romances you're looking for, this series is great. Carly Bloom has a way of writing sex that is really just sexy and engaging, and I really genuinely enjoy this series. This one, I think, has 3 or 4 books out in it right now. I think it's 3 books and a novella, if I remember correctly. But I do really enjoy the series as a whole, and I just can't recommend it enough. The next one might surprise some people, and that is The Marriage He Demands by Brenda Jackson. Now, in this one, this guy, who's a business mogul, ends up inheriting a ranch in Wyoming, even though he lives in Alaska. And so this is his romance with the woman who's the current caretaker of the ranch and owns a portion of it. And they kind of have a marriage of convenience because she wants a baby and he wants the land kind of situation. But the way they fall in love is really fantastic, and I highly recommend. If you have not read any Brenda Jackson, I've loved every Brenda Jackson I've picked up thus far. So definitely a solid recommendation there. Next, we have the Silverado Light series by Sarah Richardson. This is her current ongoing series. Her previous series was also really enjoyable. I can't remember the name of that one off the top of my head, but Sarah Richardson is a really nice go-to author. These ones tend to not be quite as explicit, but there's still a decent amount of steam in them, and I still really solidly enjoy Sarah Richardson's take on Western romances. There's usually someone on a ranch or someone who owns horse land, or there's always that tie, and sometimes it's a sheriff or things like that. They're always a lot of fun, and they're usually also small town romances, which is another thing that I do. If you want small town romance recs next, let me know down below, because you'll get some sheriffs and some of that Western overlap in small town romances as well. So if you guys want to see those, tell me. The next one I know for sure is a overlap from last time because it is one of my all-time favorite Western series, and that is the Longhorn Canyon series from Carolyn Brown. I love this because you're basically dealing with 2 families who all end up kind of operating around Longhorn Ranch. So the Longhorn Canyon series, it takes place in that area. Each book, none of the characters felt the same to me. I felt like they all had individual personalities, and sometimes in these Western romances, you'll feel like you're reading the same story over and over. I never felt that way with this series. They were all very individual. I mean, one of them is they have a one-night stand in Ireland, and a year later she comes back, but she has her friend who's passed away's kid, and he thinks it's his kid, and it's kind of messy, and that one takes place around the holidays, and it's just so interesting. I really love the series as a whole. I can't get enough of Carolyn Brown and her Western series. I know she's got a new one coming out soon, so I'm very much looking forward to that. And then last but not least for this list, I've kept this list pretty short this time, is Wild Rain by Beverly Jenkins. And that's all because of spring and like I just love this book a whole lot because we have a female rancher in a historical romance setting and she wears pants. She is a boss. We love a boss lady queen written by a queen. Like, we just love to see it. And I really enjoyed this as a whole. As normal with Beverly Jenkins, these ones are going to be a little more slow moving, a little more dense. So go in prepared for that. Most of these other ones like are really fluffy and you can just kind of get through. This one's a bit heavier and I just love it. I love the characters so very much. And most of her series all kind of overlap together. So if you've read any other of Beverly Jenkins' works, you might see some characters that you've seen before. And I just love this. So with that said, I kept it short and sweet this time. Let me know in the comments down below what kind of recommendations you want to see next. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.